Hello, community. So great that you are back. Now, you might say, what the hell is vibe design? No, you know vibe coding, but vibe design, in what relation is this? Well, it's simple. This is just using AI to design or to build your online branding, your persona, who you want to be. So, in my last video here, we talked about vibe coding, that you just have your human interactions here with an AI, and the AI generates here the code, and you are just steering here in your natural language here the development of a particular app, or let's say of a particular homepage. So you can then put this on the App Store, and you hope somebody's gonna buy your specific app. Now, it turns out nobody even noticed that there is a new app in the App Store, because the App Store may have, I don't know, 5, 10, 100 million apps already. So what do? You have to show that you have a special product, no? So if you have, developed this app and your homepage or whatever you are on social media here with this vibe coding, you can use now AI also for the next step. So you can feed AI information about your industry, your target audience that you would like to address, the existing competitors, or you ask AI to find your competitors. You tell simply in human words here your desired market position. You can ask the AI to identify key industry trigger words. What are the industry's pain points here? And your value proposition let the AI compare this to the other value proposition. So how you position yourself on the market, yeah? So you provide here really the vibe. And I think this is much more the vibe than in vibe coding, because now this is about an emotional approach to your potential customers. And you can say, hey, I want this new, let's say, a homepage section to convey here a cutting-edge authority and some exclusivity to B2B tech leads in the cybersecurity space. And maybe you have there a specific wording, you have there some trigger words, you have some highly emotional topics, you have some current trends over there. Let the AI do here the complete market survey for you. But you see, vibe design now goes, if you want, in the second stage of the vibe coding. Now we have to design really the vibe that the other people in your potential customer feel the need to purchase something from you. And maybe I can help you. So what is here the spark of genius here in today's video? It is simple, who you want to be. Do you want to be the genius who built the first Apple computers? Or do you want to be the genius who sold the first Apple computers? Is AI able to help you in the other dimension? Now, the AI can analyze different ways to frame your core message based on the marketing principle, focusing on fear of loss versus potential gains, social proof, authority, and I will provide you a detailed example in about 5 minutes' time. It can generate variants of text, different calls to action, and even layout suggestions with the new multimedia things. Well, it can also run here the live A/B test. It can simulate here potential user responses based on the vast training data. Just think about all the social media data. Or by adapting here a specific user persona. You can say, hey, I want you to be a middle manager in a particular industry with a particular task, with a particular technological background, and you get the idea. So you can ask, hey, generate 3 different ways to position our core value proposition for maximum input on a landing page conversion, focusing here on a sense of urgency vibe. And AI will provide options for you. You can vibe design your branding if you want. And yes, of course, you integrate vibe coding here, but branding now would be the real emotional next step, no? You can say, simulate how a skeptical mid-level manager persona might react to option A or option B, or suggest which of these 3 button text is most likely to drive the clicks based on common conversion patterns. Now, the AI knows the internet. I mean, this is really the only thing that AI might know in depth. So therefore, why not use here this vast data amount here of AI systems? And this will provide you with hypotheses for real A/B tests that the AI can perform for you. What I really find interesting here, the user experience and the emotional design here with this new vibe design. Yeah? I played around a little bit and I can tell you the AI can really understand the concept of a user flow, of an information architecture, and of emotional design principles. You can describe the desired user journey or the feeling that you wanted your next customer can experience, can feel. So say, design an user onboarding flow for your new app that feels intuitive, encouraging, and minimizes initial friction. Give me two options. And it's amazing. I tried this out with Gemini 2.5 Pro and it really delivered. Or you say, hey, so just some visual elements, the color palettes, the style of these images for the website to evoke here a vibe of trustworthiness. Or AI can provide conceptual descriptions, visual mockups, and if you go with multimodal language models, hey, just create here a new clip of your new app. The opportunities are really there now, and don't just stop at vibe coding to generate an app, but you want to make money with this app. You want to be noticed with this app. You want that people really enjoy this app. So from an onboarding flow here to how to optimize here your marketing. Of course, do not forget your competitors because you do not enter here an empty market space. Let the AI analyze the other successful web pages, the other apps that your industry use, the desired aesthetic categories. I can suggest layout structures, content hierarchies, and stylistic directions just by looking at all their competitors and all their internet and social media presence, their campaign, and whatever. Let an expert do this job. And I can tell you, my AI is much better in marketing because I'm not a marketing specialist. And honestly, I don't want to pay here an established marketing agency quite some amount of money. So what is here the core idea? Let's view a demo. Let's have a look. I ask here my AI system to have here a parody, a satire on my last video, And here we look what it did Gemini 2.5 Pro. It said, oh, code scientist, bless its little cotton socks, still fusing over things like validation or human review. How utterly quaint. It's like watching someone meticulously chisel some calculation into a stone tablet, while the rest of us are using warp driving on wipes. They actually have humans, slow, error-prone, carbon-based humans peering at code and selecting ideas and verifying results. Talk about putting the brakes on progress. Don't they understand the future is vibe science? Who needs correctness or reproducibility when you have speed and disruption? Code scientist found a measly 6 discovery after all that tedious checking. Pathetic. With vibe science, just tell the AI, yo, find me some groundbreaking science, something disruptive, make it look cool in the report. And the AI spits out code. Maybe it works, maybe it hallucinates a new law of physics. Who cares? As long as the graphs look sick and the abstract uses words like a paradigm shift. We ship it, yeah. Reading code, understanding the how, that's boomer talk for people afraid of the singularity. If the AI says the experiment worked, it worked, come on. If the behavioral tests run by another AI obviously gave the green light, who cares? Who are we meatbags to question here it? Code scientist worries about unfaithful experiments. We celebrate them. That's not a bug. It's an emergent scientific creativity. You don't make omelets without breaking a few axioms, right? Let the AI cook. We just need to keep feeding it prompts and surfing the glorious chaotic wave of vape science. Real scientists check facts. Web scientists check the vibes. Get with the program. Legacy humans. I didn't specify an industry. I didn't specify anything. I just say, hey, write a parody about my own YouTube video, my last YouTube video. And then, of course, I said, but you know what? If I have this, and I think it's kind of funny to see what the AI comes up with if I have no system instruction, nothing, without anything on a particular marketing instruction at all. I said, hey, I like it. Can you continue this style to the next step? Because we have to sell this new idea, no? How would you proceed? So this is just a blank version here of Gemini 2.0, 2.5 Pro. Let's have a look. Gemini goes on, all right, buckle up, buttercups, because the slow motion train to nowhere's wheel, captioned here by the code scientist of the world, has officially left the station. Without us, we are already teleporting via Vibe Drive. Selling isn't about PowerPoints and peer-reviewed papers anymore. That's dead. This is about viral velocity, about raw, unadulterated disruption. Here's the playbook. Amazing, yeah? Comes now with some steps. So the viral thread, the post storm, flood the zone, non-stop posts like, still waiting for humans to review your code? Smiley emoji. Enjoy the dust, grandpa. We just shipped 3 groundbreaking, results pending, give them a vibe check, discoveries via Vibe Science while you were sleeping. Emoji, emoji, emoji. Code scientist, let us carefully validate us. AI, generate 100 papers, make them spicy, add some charts. Jalapeno emoji. Who is winning? Vibe or die? AI firehose. Science speedrun. Or fact, human validation is the biggest bottleneck in science. We removed it. Problem solved. You are welcome. Get on the Vibe train or get run over. The manifesto drop. A slick landing page. Of course, we have to promote this on the internet, on our social media, no? With a bold title. Verification is failure. Vibe is the future. Content. Trash talk the incrementalism of the old ways. Call code scientist a noble but doomed effort to preserve the human bottlenecks. Glorify the stochastic genius of LLMs. Why constrain infinite potential with finite human understanding? Introduce nonsense metrics like the Vibe Velocity Index, trademark, or the Disruption Quotient. Show hockey stick graphs of prompt submission, not of the results, of course. Position Vibe Science not just as a tool, but as an ideology, a movement. Third, fake testimonials. Get sock puppet accounts arguing heatedly about Vibe Science on forums. Controversy equals engagement. Post fake testimonials. Since adopting Vibe Science, my lab's paper output increased 10,000%. Well, of course, we retracted 98%, but the funding, folks, the funding, says Dr. Chadley Thundercock III, a Chief Vibe Officer at Disrupto Gen Labs. Or seed questions on Quora and Reddit. It's traditional code review holding back scientific breakthroughs? And then answer with the Vibe Science propaganda. What a coincidence that this might be already happening on your preferred social media platform. And then I got a recommendation by Gemini, hey, phase 2. Now comes the monetization and the cult building. Yeah, of course, yeah. So we have some exclusive beta, some early access. You create an artificial scarcity. Vibe Science Alpha is full. Join the waitlist for the next wave of reality benders. Make people beg for it. The pre-seed pitch deck, a pure distilled hype. Target your venture capitalists who love buzzword more than the due diligence, with slides titled, hey, democratizing Nobel Prizes or all of science. Mode, we vibe harder. Financials irrelevant, come on, show user growth. People signing up for the waitlist, that's all a venture capital will need. A merch drop, yeah, you have to have t-shirts saying, may I, co-author doesn't need sleep or verification. F peer review, catch the vibe. Code is for closers of text editors. Build the brand, Then on Discord, foster community of Vibe scientists. Engage sharing the wildest AI outputs. Ban anyone asking about a methodology or a correctness, for killing the vibe. So the core message that we have to go, tells me Gemini, is speed is everything. Correctness is just a suggestion. Human oversight is friction. The AI has the vibes. Trust the vibes. Break things. Get famous. Or infamous. Same diff. code scientist is thinking inside the box. We don't even acknowledge that there is a box. We wipe it out of existence. Invest now. And I had to laugh so hard by this parody by AI. And it also made me aware, the possibilities of an AI system today. It is not bad. There is some emotional thing where I just smiled reading those texts. I said, unbelievable nonsense. But at the same time, I laughed about it. I would be interested to learn more about this. No? So you see, these emotional triggers that we have, this funny, but somehow make it interesting. Marketing. Unbelievable what it can do with humans. Yeah? And I said, hey, this is excellent. Now, if you take your last answer, I want you to change your role, your persona, and analyze each single sentence and statement. Now we're back to science. No? I said, look at them with your analytical mind. Show me the cause why this statement would be effective with a general audience, why it would trigger here certain behavior in humans, what elements of psychology we can apply to make our messages more convincing. And then just look here at the sorts. And the sorts are here. This is a thinking process for analyzing the vibe science marketing parody, from the last answer, from a psychological perspective. And now I have to say, this is really interesting to read here, this introspective by Gemini. Yeah? It says, understand the goal. The user wants now a psychological analysis of the effectiveness of the harsh, satirical vibe science marketing campaign described in the previous answer. The analysis should break down individual statements by appealing to human psychology, the cognitive biases, and the social dynamics. The persona now should be a serious psychologist. Adapt the persona, beautiful. Wait a second. So shift now from the sarcastic hype persona to a neutral analytical psychologist. Use appropriate terminology, the cognitive bias, the social proof, FOMO, group thinking. Maintain objectivity, even when analyzing manipulative tactics. The tone should be explanatory and insightful, not judgmental. Go through the previous answer, section one by one, point by point. Then perform the following sub-steps. Identify the target audience, identify the psychological principles, what cognitive bias, what emotional triggers, what social dynamics are being exploited or leveraged. Yeah? Explain the mechanism. Why does this tactic work? How does it work? Why would it trigger here a specific reaction? Explain the desired effect, and so on. Flesh out the analysis. Yes, yes, yes. So let's have a look at the answer. Here the answer starts. Putting on the analytical psychologist hat to dissect here this vibe science marketing campaign. Here we go. So we have here this analysis of phase one, flood the zone non-stop posts. The psychological principle is availability heuristics, a mere exposure effect, creation of urgency. So by making here the vibe science concept omnipresent in the target's information feed on all social media, mail, whatever, it appears more important, more credible, and inevitable than it is. So we have this availability heuristic. Repeated exposure, even to controversial ideas, can increase the familiarity and sometimes the acceptance, what we call a mere exposure effect. And the sheer volume creates a sense of urgency and a rapid movement. The effectiveness is real there because it simply overwhelms your critical thinking. No? Makes the idea seem like the next big thing everyone is talking about, my goodness. Encourages here an impulsive engagement rather than a careful consideration of the topic. No? Still waiting, enjoy the dust, grandpa. Psychological principle. In-group, the out-group bias, ad hominem, appeal to the novelty, to the youth, and what's really important, I think, the fear of missing out, FOMO. So what it does in establishing here an us, no, we are fast, modern, vibing versus them, the old, slow, validating scientists, yeah? A dynamic fostering group identity among proponents. Yeah? It attacks the old guard personally rather than their methods. It leverages here an inherent appeal of newness and speed, especially in tech, and triggers here anxiety about being left behind. It creates here the social pressure to join the in-group, discourages association with the outgroup and leverages ageism and fear of irrelevance, motivates adoption based on social anxiety rather than on merit. As generate 100 papers from psychological principle, simplicity bias, false dichotomy, appeal to speed, efficiency. Present a complex issue as scientific validation versus generation speed as a simple binary choice. It frames validation as inherently slow and contrasts it with an hyper-efficient, through unverified output of the eye. Humans often prefer a simpler narrative. Make the vibe science approach seem vastly superior in terms of output volume and speed, appealing to metrics-driven individuals and those frustrated by perceived bureaucracy in traditional methods. Ignores yet a critical dimension of quality or of correctness. Human validation is the biggest bottleneck. We use here the framing effect, the illusory truth effect, and scapegoating. So we frames a necessary process, the validation, negatively as a bottleneck. Stating it as a fact without evidence leverages here the tendency to believe confidentially asserted statement, especially if repeated. It provides here a simple target for any frustration with the pace of progress. Resonates with impatient, provides a simple explanation for complex problems, directs blame towards an external factor, making the proposed solution, removing this bottleneck, seem logical and necessary. The emoji storm, emotional contagious, attentional bias, low effort processing. Emojis convey emotions quickly and bypass here a nuanced human language. The visual clutter grabs attention, the attention bias. Bright, positive, explosive emotion can evoke similar feelings in the viewer, emotional contagion, and are processed with less cognitive effort than text. Makes posts more visually engaging and shareable. The manifesto. Verification is failure. Vibe is the future. Psychological principle, ideological framing, commitment and consistency, and the group identity. Evaluates a matter to the level of an ideology of a movement. So strong polarizing statement, force a stance and encourage identification. Are you with us or against us? Publicly aligning with the manifesto makes individuals more likely to defend it later. Community, commitment, consistency. It creates a dedicated follower group rather than just users, fostering a sense of belonging and purpose, makes adherent resistance to rational counterarguments by framing it as a matter of belief, of identity. Trash talk, glorify AI, nonsense metrics, pseudo-quantification, mystification. I love it. So, this missing alternative confirms the bias of those already leaning towards the new method, describing the AI in vague, powerful terms, a stochastic genius mystifies the AI, making it seem beyond the normal critique, and invented metrics give here a false sense of a scientific rigor and progress. Or manufactured buzz, fake testimonials, seeding questions, the bandwagon effect here, the agenda setting, the social proof. This is so important to us, no? Exploits the tendency to look to others when deciding how to act or what to believe. This social proof, no? So even fake activities creates the appearance of popularity, encouraging others to jump on the bandwagon. Seeding questions make the topic seem organically important and debated. And then we come to phase 2, monetization and cult building. But of course, I know you're not interested anymore in how to make money and how to build your brand, how to build a cult with a pure hype and scarcity principle. But it is so interesting to see this, né? Especially if you then go to the overall psychological assessment. And it says the Vibe Science campaign here, so the answer before this answer is a masterclass in leveraging psychological biases and social dynamics for rapid, potentially viral adoption while actively disencouraging critical thought and verification. It prioritizes here the perception, the speed, and the group identity over substance, accuracy, and ethical consideration. While potentially effective in generating an initial hype and funding and dedicated following, Its foundation built on bypassing validation makes the long-term credibility and the actual utility highly questionable. It's a strategy designed for maximum noise and disruption, not for building reliable or trustworthy scientific outcomes. I found this very first draft without any guide rails from my side on which industrial sector to address, in which management level to address, in what particular industry, what are currently the trends in this industry, and what are the buzzwords, what are the trigger words that I can use here to address those people, those potential customers here in a new way on the internet to build a brand. I thought, hey, Gemini here, let's have a look at this. Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental 0325. What an amazing AI system. Just giving here you this insight, this way of potentially building up here a branding campaign. So coming back now here to the real world facts, what is it? A simple vibe design process with UI could be in the following 6 steps. No? You define the goal, the target audience you would like to address, the desired emotional outcome, the brand personality that you want to be, received as this kind of personality that you're dreaming of, the key constraints that you have, and provide examples that you like. Your mood boards, competitor side, you say, hey, I'm really impressed by this side. Can you build me something similar? The AI then generates multiple options for copy, messaging angles, design element, layout idea, experience flows, incorporating all the right keywords, addressing here all the right marketing principles. And I just showed you in the short demo how interesting this can be. And then you can have your short tests. Now you really have to go out, you have to do your tests. No? This is just theory, but you have to prove this on the market. Either you let the AI simulate your potential user reaction, critique, suggestion, play here with persona, marketing heuristic, or really do some specific A/B tests. So you evaluate then the AI output against your strategic goals and intuition. So we come back a little bit here to the human interaction, and you select the most promising direction that you like from what the AI proposed here. You can have refinement loops. You provide a feedback here, make option B more concise, or combine this, or whatever you have. You have all the possibility to design this to your liking. And then you have the implementation, and then the real testing starts. Because if you have a design, if you have chosen your messages, if you have decided how you want to present yourself here to your customers, if you have done the real user testing, your A/B testing for validation, then you get a lot of feedback, and then maybe you have to redesign your app. And maybe then you have another cycle where I say, okay, now I start with vibe coding because I have to optimize here maybe the functions of the app, maybe the appearance of the app, maybe the integration of the app, maybe some whatever. So let's come here to a short and just wanted to show you, hey, if you go with vibe coding, if you really use here all the functionalities and the utilities here of the latest AI models, I think vibe design is also a logical next step. At least you should try it out if this is something that you would like to experience. And I used here Gemini 2.0 Pro, but now for the real test, I use Gemini 2.5 Pro here. And I can tell you, it really acts like a tireless brainstorming partner. It's always there. At 2 o'clock in the night, copywriter, a junior designer, a user panel, a marketing analyst, it's all there. You can ask this system to be those personas here, to have this onboarding flow, all guided by the vibe that you set. You tell the AI, hey, I want to be seen as this person. I feel myself like this one. So can you build something that is authentic to my beliefs, to the way I see myself? And believe me, the feedback from the market will be harsh. It really accelerates here the ideation and the variation process, and it fuses here really some real-life marketing test intelligence coming back to you And it still requires your strategic direction and the validation against the real world performance, A/B test, whatever you run. It is absolutely fascinating. And the AI builds all those models, all those web pages, all those home pages, all those social media posts. It builds it for you. It runs it for you. It evaluates it for you. You just have then to guide exactly in the direction that you want to build up your own branding. And I think this is it for today. I hope I've shown you that vibe coding is not the only way you can use this vibe feeling here that let AI build something. It does not have to be only a Python or a C++ code base. This feeling, this vibe, this is so much more important. If you design your app, if you design your appearance on the internet, if you design your branding, if you design how you want to be seen, if you design the functionalities of whatever you put out there, and if you receive feedback, how to optimize this in the next step, but be true to your inner self, be true to how you want this app to behave, how you, or whatever you stand for, This is so important, this trustworthiness, this authenticity. And yeah, it will need a lot of guidance, the AI system, but you can really focus on the most important facts. And yes, I have to tell you, it is not anymore the coding, how to build an app, how to build your posts, how to build homepages. This is all now a commodity. AI is doing this for free. So why not play around? Why not experience? Why not subscribe? And I see you in my next video.